The following podcast, I had on a friend, Marlon Friedman. He works down in recovery at the Crossroads. It's a rehab in South Jersey, and it works almost exclusively with the Orthodox community. And I wanted to sit down and talk to him about some of those topics, and that's what we did. It was a great conversation, and I hope you enjoy it. Remember to like, follow, subscribe, and thanks for following.
Hello and welcome to the Brainstorm podcast. And now, your host, Sonny Perlman.
Okay, we're live. I'm sitting with Marlon Friedman. Is it Friedman or Freeman?
Friedman.
I always get, whenever I meet someone named Friedman, because I've met Freemans and Friedmans.
I am a Friedman.
Okay. Anyway, I know you from Crossroads. We do a lot of work with you guys down, and it's a rehab, and you'll tell us more about it.
Sure.
But that's how I know you. But your story is fascinating, and we always get into really good conversations. So that's how we ended up here.
Yes.
in the podcast studio.
Yes.
What do you think about the studio?
I think the studio is great. I mean, it's comfortable.
It's comfortable.
You know, it's not.
It's not. I just did one in a studio where it was like over a table, and I was very uncomfortable. Like I was like talking by a table.
The only thing that always freaked me out was the lights. Even when you do like a live TV thing, it's the lights, and then you get used to it, and then you move on.
Right.
I guess the light has to
Is
capture.
Is it too much?
No,
Yeah,
no. It's just it's not a normal.
It's weird.
Sit and watch TV, you know.
Right.
So
it is weird.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's very, very comfortable, and I'm thanking you for inviting me.
So okay, I'm gonna jump right in, and we'll talk about a million things. But you're not typically from the Orthodox Jewish community.
I'm not.
You are Jewish.
I am.
I know that from the Friedman.
Yes. That gets me in the door.
That's like that. I know you're from the Freedman, but you're not. So how in the world did you end up in the Orthodox world working in the addiction community? Tell me.
So I'll start with why I'm even in the addiction. So I was a bagel store operator in New York, and I used to open stores, fix them up, and sell them. Some of them we kept, and customers would come in, and I felt.
I don't mean to cut you off so fast, but I do have a question.
Yeah.
I forgot you were the bagel store guy.
Yeah, tell me.
But I have a question, and it needs to be answered. It's a very important question. Is that thing about the water in New York true or not?
It's absolutely true.
Let me explain to everybody else, and then you'll tell me why it's absolutely true. To everybody else, everybody says the bagels in New York are the best because something to do with the water. You're saying it's true.
It is definitely true. So when you have water, hard water and soft water, so in Florida, the water is not consistent to make bread have a certain a rise effect, right, and have a crunch. The water that we have in New York, although it may have whatever chemicals are inside, which is not unhealthy for us, actually binds the dough a little bit better. So we have great water here. In New Jersey, there's great water. In Chicago, there's great water. And if you think about it, that's where most of the bread is. Chicago pizza. There's nothing like that. It's the water. I mean, I'm sure the ingredients are a lot to it, but I tried to open a store in Florida, and the quality of the product wasn't the same. It's the water.
Really? Okay. I thought it was a myth.
Now, there's an art to this. You know, for me, I think a bagel store should always be hand-rolled, boiled, and baked.
Yeah.
In the industry now, people are opening stores with what's called a rack oven.
Right.
Where you put the bagels on a mesh rack, they steam them and bake them.
They steam them?
Yeah, that's a bread product. It's not a bagel.
Wait a minute. How do you, that's not a bagel.
It's not a bagel. So you know that because you're from here.
Right.
And anybody who would
Why don't they boil them?
Because it's a product that they skip. So they skip over the kettle. You don't have to buy
Because the
kettle.
actual oven could do the steaming.
And the oven that you buy, a rotisserie oven, is very expensive. It's usually a 5-shelf rotisserie oven. And you can make up to 40 dozen bagels at a time.
Okay.
The rack oven, you're doing 6 dozen, but it's one contained thing. And you can have several rack ovens. But it's not a bagel product. It's a bread product.
Oh, wow. That's the difference.
It's a big difference. So when you see a bagel,
Could I tell you where I had my best bagel I ever had in my entire life?
me.
And you're not going to believe it.
tell me,
Omaha, Nebraska.
really?
I went into a kosher bagel store. I don't know if it still exists. It was called like New York Bagels. So I don't know what the deal is with the water, but it was an absolutely delicious. I remember it. It's
Water could be good.
26 years ago. I remember the bagel till today. I'm just saying, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing over there.
It could be. A bagel has to have a certain color to it. So I used to use malt along with sugar to give it that gloss, like
Okay.
caramel gloss. It has to have a crunch, and it has to be soft in the middle. That's a bagel.
Yeah.
Now, when a bagel first comes out,
It has like a leathery outside, the good ones. It's like a little leathery. I don't know how to call it. Like it's
crunchier.
okay.
Should be crunchier. When a bagel first comes out of the oven, and then you ask the store to toast it, you're killing the product. That's your best product right out
I
of
don't
the
want
oven.
a toasted bagel.
If your bagel's cold, then you can toast it. So it gets you that crunch again.
If it comes right out of the oven, you don't need to toast
You
it.
don't need to toast it. It's just really hard to put butter, and it's hard for them to maneuver it. But a bagel has to be boiled and baked. It has to be cooked in a rotisserie oven.
I never thought I'd get a bagel guy on my podcast.
Listen, I did this since I was 13. I got into the bagel store because I wanted a KZ80, a little dirt bike, when I was 12. My mother said, I'm sorry, I don't have the money, but if you'd like to get a job, I support that. I went into the bagel store. I said, can you teach me what to do? That was exactly how it happened. And then 6 months later, I had the bike in my apartment, in my bedroom, which was dangerous. But we were kids, right? It made me want a job. And then as I had that job, I was like, wow, this is really cool. It taught me how to hand roll. And it was just fantastic. Pastries. I can make certain pastries now. Cookies, cakes. This was all just watching people and letting them teach me.
Wow. Okay, so then you're actually in the industry, building them, selling them.
Building them, selling them. And then I started to get these feelings off of families that would come in that either didn't have the funds or were afraid to ask for how much something was. And I would meet them at the door. And I'd say, excuse me, is there something here that you would like? Well, I had lox once. It was really good, but it's really expensive. I said, I understand. I said, why don't you do this? Why don't you come back? When you settle in, I'll put you at a table. You guys can eat whatever you want. I said, but I can't afford it. And I said, I'm not asking you for money. In my opinion, if we can't give food to people in need, then where are we? And my partner used to watch me do this all the time, and he would look at me like, what are you doing? Why does it have to be the most expensive items? I said, it's not that I'm picking. The customer's picking. Mm. And why do we deny? If we don't sell this after a few days, I'm throwing it out anyway. He says, I understand. So it kind of morphed into something else. I met somebody from a shelter system, and I said, I can volunteer. They said, you own a business. And I said, I don't live in title. I'm a human being, and we're all the same. We're all part of the same energy. We have to feed it. Tell me what to do. So he had me fill out all these applications and stuff. I started serving meals at the shelter. I started volunteering for women's homelessness. And I didn't understand why. I'm not a social worker, but I had the bug. So I have friends that work in a place called Deerfield in Manhattan. It's a hedge fund. Mm-hmm. My best friend is a senior partner. I used to go every Friday to try to beat them in poker. They're like the leaders of the financial world. It's like, I don't know, $8 billion a year. So I could never beat them, but I would always poke around the office because I was fascinated by their investments. And I saw Recovery Centers of America. It was on a big blueprint. And I said, what is this? They said, well, these are rehabilitation centers for people who are struggling with alcohol and drugs. And we're soon going to get into mental health. And I said, who's going to manage such big buildings? How does this work? They said, well, you just sold out of your last store, and we were going to ask you if you'd like to go. I said, but I don't know anything. They said, we're going to educate you. I said, just like that. I said, we're going to teach you everything that you need to know. You want certificates? You want degrees? We'll help you. So I said, so what do I have to do? They said, pack up. This is where you're going to report to. So I gave away a lot of the things in my apartment that people needed in the building, and I just packed up my Jeep and left. And that's kind of how it started for me.
You went from where to where?
I went from New York to Pennsylvania
Okay.
to meet Brian O'Neill. He's a construction guy who owns Recovery Centers of America. And I was the guy from the investment office. So I'm filled with anxiety because I'm representing them and I don't know anything. And it was like a welcoming. Welcome. You want to help? We want to help you. And they just kind of taught me everything. But it's kind of fate that I ended up in this, because when I was 17 years old, my mother passed away. And she was a model in the Coliseum, and she had a clothing store, and she did everything she could. She was a single mom, and she was taking what was called black beauties to stay awake. And it gave her a heart attack. I didn't know what this was, so I kind of, it stayed with me for a long time. I went to therapy for a long time to accept that she wasn't here. And then
You were on your own after that?
well, my sister and I, yeah. And we kept our apartment, and nobody knew. We were underage. We paid the rent on time. Everybody on the floor was late because we hustled. We had no choice. And
You were older?
I was the younger one.
Oh, younger.
My sister was a year and 6 months older than me. So we got through all of that, and then we went our own separate ways. But the fact that I ended up trying to help somebody in this, it's kind of like a full circle. And I didn't know what was happening. So maybe when that happened to me, God gave me some kind of a feeling.
Right.
But that's the only way I can explain it, because before that I was only into baseball. All I wanted to do was play baseball and football. But after that...
Were you an athlete?
I was.
Oh, really?
But after that happened, I didn't care much about sports anymore.
After your mom passed?
Yeah, it was weird, and I was a good player. I just wasn't interested. And the coaches would say, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Something happened. I want to go a different direction." And my whole life just went into like a business direction, and it ended up landing me exactly where I was supposed to go.
Wow.
Yeah, and I didn't know why this was happening. But I am so grateful that it did. Because, everybody's got a job out there, or hopefully everybody's got a job out there. Are you happy in what you do? Because I wake up every day and I ask God, all right, what are you going to do to me today? Who are you going to put in front of me today? Because I'm ready. And that's how I live for the most part.
Well, I was having a whole discussion with the guys. One of the coolest things about running the center, I don't know if we call ourselves a center, the community that I get to run, was I sit down and just, there's always an absolutely fascinating conversation going on. And like the discussion of working, like what exactly you're saying, like you work. So to me, it's like, if I have to work, then I want it to be something meaningful. But I have to work.
Well, hopefully,
Right.
yeah.
I was saying, if I have so much money I don't have to work, then I don't know if I would do anything. That was really the interesting. I'm always amazed with people with a lot of money that are still doing something. I'm like, why are you still doing something?
Right.
Shouldn't you just, I guess that would make you go crazy. But like what you're saying, I have the same exact feeling. Like, I know I have to work, and if my day is not filled with meaningful, I don't know what to do with myself. I think it's, some people could just grind it. They could just grind it. I don't like doing my work, and then they go on. Some people, like, they need to feel the passion. I'm one of those people. Like, I need to feel the passion.
I mean, listen, there are certain parts of the job that I don't like.
Everything's a job.
I don't like the documentation piece. I don't like that everything you do you have to write down. But it's important so you can find out where you left off. Everything that I don't...
You're going to make an argument for paperwork. I want to hear that.
Well, everything that... because everything that I don't like actually benefits me if I do it. So I go back and forth, with my direct report on how many things, how many places I go, what I'm supposed to do. And for the most part, he guides me in the right way. Give yourself a direction.
You mean he, like God?
No, my direct report.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Job, right?
I lost
Alex.
you there. Okay, yeah.
So Alex always reminds me that if you don't set plans for yourself and you don't set marks for yourself, then you don't know where you left off, because we're always doing a million things. and you don't want to get lost. In this industry, people remember what you say, and you have to live by your words. So if you tell someone, I'm going to meet you at a certain time, I'm going to talk to you at a certain time, you have to live by that. And how do you do that? Your calendar.
Gotta be
right?
calendar. That's what you said to me. Should we put you in the calendar? Like, calendar. What are you talking
Calendar,
about?
because for me, I cover such a wide area. I don't want to miss anything, you know. And this was important to me because I've been wanting to do this with you for a while. But the argument of paperwork is that it keeps you organized.
I have no argument for paperwork. Boo. I want to say this. I have not seen anything burn out more amazing people than paperwork. There's nothing in the world that has destroyed some of our greatest people in the field. I'm like watching people like die out. I'm like, if I could just take that paper, I hope that AI takes over and it sits there.
I'm using a lot of that now.
Yeah, I think it should just sit there and be like making your schedule as you're going, recording everything you're doing. And I want to be a cyborg. Paperwork should be AI.
So it's definitely turning into that. I think they're working out the kinks of how you talk to give direction of what you want, but absolutely helping. You know, proposals, different schedule aspects, emails. It's helping. It is, because you can't use what they say because it does sound like computer generated, but it gives you an idea of what you're looking for.
Right.
And then you put it in your own words.
I think AI is amazing. And
I think it is too.
And it's cool. Okay, so let me ask you, because I mean, I can only talk about paperwork for maximum 60 seconds of my life, and then I start having palpitations and PTSD from my earlier days. I don't do a lot of paperwork now, so that's one of the benefits of being a director.
Of course,
I think it's the only benefit of being a director. Is the paperwork is less. Working, so you've done all this work for the the world in terms of recovery, but then you got involved, and this is where I'm really interested in what your thoughts are in the Orthodox. It's mainly Orthodox Jewish people coming to Crossroads on some level.
On some level, but there's a lot
not
of people,
the outpatient.
There's a lot of people coming in now that are not Jewish.
Okay.
They're kind of embracing our culture, which is very cool.
Oh, wait. They're like getting excited about the Jewish part.
Because they don't know much about it. So when they come in for the outpatient level of care, they're not at the house, but they're coming in every day. They're mingling, and they're starting to understand, wow, this is kind of cool. The food, they're eating the food and they like it because we don't have anything but kosher food. But to answer your question, I made executive director at Recovery Centers of America. They put me in Waldorf, Maryland to run a rehab. It's a 130-bed facility with the CEO. I'm there for a while, and I was, pretty overwhelmed by this. It was a very humbling experience for me. And I did really well with it. It wasn't that I couldn't do it. I got a call from a therapist to call out. Just didn't want to come to work. And that therapist will never know that made my decision for me. I said, you have a full caseload waiting for you to come in. You had set all kinds of plans for these people, and they're looking forward to seeing you. I'm going to take over your group because I don't want to disappoint them. So I did. And then I called corporate and said, listen, this is not for me. I don't feel like I'm helping. I don't want to take a sick call. I don't want to do another financial spreadsheet. I want to go back in the field. They said, but you just made executive director. And I said, I don't live in title. I said, I'm a soldier and I'm going to serve.
Okay.
That's it. I said, because we only have a certain number of years that we can work anyway. So while I'm here, I got to do something. It's important that you have to get in. So I quit. And they said, you can't quit. They said, we're going to give you a severance package. They gave me a few other jobs, but I wasn't interested. And it came down to like, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to be out in the field. And they didn't have that available for me at that time. So they gave me a big severance package. I'm sitting at home and I'm talking to my wife. My wife is Sephardic Jew. And I said to her, honey, do you know anything about this religion? She says, I do. I said, it's about time I did, because I don't know who I am as far as my culture. So she said, so what are you going to do? I said, I got to call Shlomo. He says, who's Shlomo? I said, Shlomo Green's wife. I'm going to call him because I love that guy.
Oh,
Like one of the
wow.
nicest
So you
people.
knew him before?
Yeah,
Okay.
I met him while I was at RCA.
Right.
And he stands out to me because
He's a director of.
he's
the owner.
The owner. He's such a gentle and kind guy. And I was always afraid of rabbis. I was afraid of the way they looked. I was afraid they were going to ask me a question. I'm a Friedman that doesn't know, and from what I'm told, Friedman is a powerful name in the Jewish culture.
Oh, it's a very Jewish name.
Yeah.
Why powerful?
There's a lot of like major doctors and a lot of Friedmans in there.
We know a lot of Friedmans.
So I said, I don't know anything. I said, I'm embarrassed. So I called Mike DeMarco. You know Mike.
Yeah.
I said, Mike, I want to come work there. He's like, oh. He said, what about RCA? I said, I'm not interested. I said, I'm on a severance package. He says, have you applied anywhere else? I said, no. I want to work here. And I want to go talk to Shlomo. And he says, okay, we'll set that up. So I'm sitting with Shlomo and Alex in the corporate office in Lakewood.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he was surprised that I was even sitting there.
He's like, what do you do?
Well, he says, why us? And I told him. He asked me what I wanted. He gave me more. And I started right away.
Wow.
And through this whole thing, I told him my fears with the rabbis. And Rabbi Epstein, who's the rabbi at RAC, Recovery at the Crossroads, he says to me, so I'm understanding that you're apprehensive about sitting near me. I said, I don't want to be anywhere near you. And he says to me, did I do something to you? I says, you're gonna. And he says, what do you think I'm going to do? You're going to start asking me questions. He says, why are you afraid of that? I said, because I've never studied. When I was a kid in Hebrew school, I got kicked out for being mischievous. I never went back, and I'm ashamed. He says, don't be ashamed. I'm glad you know nothing. You don't have any bad habits. We could start from the beginning. And I was like, that's it? He says, that's it. He says, first step, when you go home, tell your wife you're invited to Shabbos dinner. I said, what is that? He says, on Friday night. I said, I've heard of it. I've never done it.
Right.
I've never been in a Seder. I've never done any of that. He says, this is really exciting for me. He says, I get to show you the first one. So he invited me to Cherry Hill to his home. And you've met Debbie, right? The one who used to cook at the house.
I'm not sure.
For Recovery at the Crossroads. She was the chef.
Okay.
At the house. So that's his wife. She says, welcome, the whole thing. And then they take my wife away into another room. So now I'm lost again.
Wait a minute.
Because they separate the men and the women, right?
Right.
So I ran to Rabbi Epstein. Is my wife leaving? I said, no. This is part of what happens. And he explained everything to me. Then 10 guys come in from the street. He says, no, you have to have a certain number of men to pray. So this was so new to me, and I was so lost in the room. And Mike DeMarco was there, his wife is there. And Mike has been through this before. And he's looking at me, he says, boy, are you a fish out of water here? I said, I don't know what's happening here, but I'm going to stay and I'm going to learn, right? And that's kind of how I embraced it going forward. Shlomo and Alex sent me to the Aguda conference, to the Nefesh conference, to table. And I may have been the enigma in the room for a lot of people, but they spoke to me. And they were all very kind and warm. And I just started networking. And now I talk to Ruthie from Sephardic Bikulim all the time.
Right.
Miriam is a gem from Amudim.
Yes.
They're great people.
And coming on, by the way.
That's awesome. They just want to help people.
What do you think about the community?
I love it. What I don't like about
it,
there's things I don't like.
Let's hear all the things.
I don't like the fact that people sweep things under the rug. I don't like the fact that there are certain people in high rabbinical positions that will not get involved in this because of the stigma. And I've had some arguments in Lakewood. It's up to you. It's your responsibility as a leader of this community. If someone is struggling, to get them the help that they need. I don't care about stigma. I don't care what people think. Don't shame your family. Don't say, don't do. I don't agree with that. Do I love the Jewish people? I do. I do. I embrace them. They embrace me. But there are certain things we need to take care of in our community. And that one is to scream about it. Hey, we have a problem. We need help. Mental health, substance use help. There's no shame in asking for it. In my world, today is a great day to get well.
That's what the Native Americans would say.
That's it.
They didn't say it that way.
Well, today's a great day to get well.
The Native Americans used to say, today is a great day to die.
Right.
I think it means the same thing.
Maybe for them.
No, because listen, I had on the yoga guy, and the only way to get better is to kill the old guy.
Right.
You have to die.
Yeah.
You have to die to live. So I think they're saying the same thing, but they would do it before they went to war. So maybe they meant it literally.
I just feel that there is so much help out there now. There are so many different levels of care. There are so many therapists out there for everything that you're ailing from. Why are we not pushing? You know, Lakewood changed dramatically, especially with the women. The women run behavioral health. In the Orthodox world, that didn't happen in the past. Now most are educated, they are working, and they are helping. They are part of the solution. It's coming up. We're getting there. Now we just got to get some of the old school to go away. You know, when you educate a family that you keep your things to yourself, that you don't look for help, or because there's still families out there that I talk to that say, hey, can I talk to you? But you can't tell anybody who I am. You know, and I don't want anybody to know about my child. Okay? And then a week later, I'm at the police station in Lakewood getting them out of jail. Now can we talk about it?
When do we start?
Yeah, when do you begin to say, hey, that's not okay? And I think you'll agree with this. In this world today, a lot of the young people, they don't have a result.
What do you mean they don't have a result?
There's no consequence for an action. When I grew up,
In general?
well, for a lot of the things like the misbehavior, the not looking for help. When I was younger, if you needed help or you had to do something, you had to do it. If you did something wrong, there was a consequence. You know, and I'm seeing that families are so afraid for their child to get hurt out in the street that they're allowing them. You know, it's kind of like a behavior that you're allowing. And I'm not blaming the family.
I think the consequences are still there, but we're protecting a lot. I think an interesting idea on protecting is it's not that the protecting makes you weak. It's that what makes you strong is when someone says to you that I believe that you could get hurt and be all right. I believe, like in the old days, I think this is a breakdown of the father system a little bit. And maybe the feminizing of the fathers, I'm not sure. But they're not realizing that the second part of raising a child is saying, I trust that you could cross that street. Not don't cross that street. You go cross that street. This is how you do it. Go do it. I trust that you could climb that tree. Yeah, you may fall and break your arm, but I want you to try. But that trust, when you are protecting your child, there's two parts of self-esteem. One is that I am worthy, and that you get really from your mother, like we love you and you're worthy. And then your father gives you that I'm competent. I could do this.
Sure.
If you just have the worthiness, the holding, which you need.
Sure.
If you just have that, and you don't say, hey, go out, break a leg. Go out. Speak to a girl, which should be not in our community, but I'm saying in other communities, go get hurt, get your heart broken, go out there, make a friend, get into a fight in the schoolyard. Like we trust that you got this, like
that's
that.
how I grew up.
Right. That's how we all grew up. I mean, we were on the street.
Yeah, but I
don't know. I was in the 80s and we were on the street.
And I am not blaming because
yeah,
I never had a child that struggled from this. I don't know what that feels like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know how I would react. I just know of how I am now in the industry and how I look to care for those.
Right, but I may not agree with you when it comes to when people are suffering. A lot of people in my industry. I don't know if I'm in the industry because I got a.
Oh, you are.
I'm in there.
You're.
But No, in a weird way, I'm in the community building industry, which is a little different, but it's connected. I'm adjacent to the industry. There's a lot of like words like enabling and like we got to be tougher with them. I think what I disagree with is I do believe that in child raising. I believe that we need that.
Yes.
I do think that when someone hits a level of addiction and it means that their self-esteem is so broken that they don't even understand consequences. So trying to be tougher with them and all these words like don't enable them, they're not getting it because they're missing the initial love. The worthiness part is gone.
I think we got off on the wrong. So
Not
for
wrong.
me, when we deal with addiction, I agree with you 100%. It has to be hand holding because in the beginning it's always that because you're broken and you want to rebuild.
Right.
When you're allowing the constant and it becomes a behavior and it becomes a defiance, there has to be the word no.
Right.
I mean, and it doesn't have to be a harsh no. It just
No
has to
from
be a
who?
no.
From whom?
From
Sorry.
whoever they're being governed by. It has to be a no. It has to be a no while you're in treatment. Hey, I can help you, but please don't do this. This is the way we should go forward. And then if it continues, sir or ma'am, no. This is the way that it works.
Right.
When I first started in the industry, I was a patient advocate. And that job was probably the most important job that I've ever had in the industry because I was everything to them. When they came in, I was inpatient. I would talk to their families. I would talk to their landlords. I would go to court to try to get them out of trouble so they can do treatment. I would do whatever I could to alleviate the barriers on the outside so they can focus on treatment. Because when you do that, you eliminate some of those behaviors. Because a lot of people that have that behavior, some of them are really going through it. They have a lot of outside things. Some of the kids that are going through this, the 18 plus, they might have some trauma. There might be a reason why they're doing this. So I don't say be like militant,
Yeah.
but I say that everything has to be a progression. So if you start here, I want you to go a little further and a little further, and then talk about where you are and how you feel. Because if you don't capture each moment, it's not important. And it becomes like going to a job and punching the clock, just waiting
Right.
for the time to go by. So if you capture each moment and you talk about it, get the family involved with each moment, then everybody can remember. It's almost like a memory tree that you have of growth.
Right.
And then a lot of those behaviors go away because then you feel confident in yourself that you are doing something. So I am a component of no in my house because they're older.
Okay.
They know. They know what they can do, what they can't do.
But do you actually say no a lot?
I don't have to.
That's what I think that's what
I
I'm
don't have
saying.
to because it was already set. Like we still have one in our home. He's a carpenter. He's doing great. He's going to have a great career. He's in the union. But there are certain things, he's 26 years old. We're both men.
Right.
We clash a little bit, but now he understands. My goal for him is for him to have his own home, for him to get married, for him to have children, and he knows that. He knows how much I love him. So when he does something that he knows is against the household, because he's a tinkerer, so
Right.
there's a million things in the house that he's fixing.
Right.
Right. And for me, I'm at the age now where I want neat and
Just want it fixed.
everything's fixed. Call somebody to have him fix it. Right. So I look at him and he says, "You don't like this." And I said, "Can we have a different area in the house to do it?" He says, "That would be great." So I didn't say no. I just asked him to comply because his mother does everything for everybody. She cooks for everybody, cleans for everybody. She's in school full time. She works full time. So I said, I don't want her to ever have to clean up after you at your age.
Right.
I said, I want you to clean up after her.
So it's interesting you're saying no, but what you're saying is yes.
I'm saying yes.
You're saying I'm pushing back because I don't like the word no. And it's not that I don't like the word no because when people say no, I'm thinking yes. When I say I'll give you an example in the sober living homes, right? So one of the things that we're not very focused on is a lot of therapy. Now, that's weird. People have told me, oh, you're against therapy. No, I like therapy. I think everybody should go to therapy once or twice a week. I think that the world should kick you in the face. Now, not because I want you to be kicked in the face. It's because the world kicks you in the face.
So you and I are saying the same exact thing.
Exact same thing. I'm just saying it differently. That's what I'm trying to say. I want to tell you that the way I'm hearing it, because I want it to kick you in the face because I know that you can handle whatever is coming at you. Right. You don't know that yet.
That's right.
But I got you. So I'm the father, meaning the way I see it is the mother is, here's the safe place. The father is, there's the dangerous place, but you're strong enough to handle that dangerous place. So it's about telling them that they can handle anything. It's interesting because therapy to me is like, oh, I'm triggered. I'm this, I'm that. You don't have to be triggered anymore.
That's right.
None of it. You don't have. Yeah, life is a trigger. Someone walks over to you, says something nasty right to your face, and walks away like a bad musk from a terrible perfume.
Right.
Like just walks away and leaves you with that. You're like, what just happened? And then your life is over, which happens to me about 12 times a day. And but inside me, I'm like, I got this.
That's right.
So if I'll be like, oh my God, the second this happens, I better run and go get mommy and I'm gonna do 7 therapy sessions and process it. I'm like, you need to process it because people need to process things, but you're strong enough to handle it.
Yeah.
To me, your no is my yes. Like I was saying is like, do you have a better place to do this but you're saying to your son, your son knows you love it that he tinkers.
I do.
Some people will be like, there's no tinkering in this house because it makes things dirty. He knows you love it. He just needs to figure out where to do it.
So for me, the house belongs to my wife.
No, that's true.
Belongs to my wife. She wants to.
But that's a Jewish. Do you know that's a Jewish idea?
It's the right idea.
I'm saying they say that Isha Kabayas, that a woman is the house.
Absolutely.
The house is the woman.
She wants to move something in the house. She wants to throw something out. Who am I to say anything? I will never even get into that because she makes life so great for everybody.
You mean your best T-shirts?
But I don't care. Okay. She takes my T-shirts and wraps her hair with it. And I always have to buy new ones when she comes out of the shower because she's got so much hair. So, for me,
Sephardi Jew.
I don't care. I don't care because I'm happy in the house. But when I talk to him, I say to him, and once in a while he'll ask me why. I said, this is your mother's house. She can't stand all these things in the house, but she loves you so much that she won't yell at you for it. So I'm yelling at you. Do your things away from her sight. When she needs to get somewhere, like in the garage, if there's no path for her to get to where she's got to go because your things are there, I'm going to get it. Not you, me.
There you go.
So can you help me out here? And that's our relationship.
Right.
And the union thing, I pushed that. I wrote recommendation letters for him to get where he's got to go. Because we all in this industry, we meet people and we start to know people. And we don't know if knowing that person is going to help somebody else. But you never know, and...
Well, I have this if you taught every single thing and you've taught your kids, they all know. There's nothing, that's the fascinating thing I find, that our kids, they know every single thing we think, everything, which is fascinating because if we try to keep pushing ideas, we're wasting our time. They know.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a story that this has nothing to do with... Hold on. Let me move this a little closer. I'm nervous that I'm closer to the mic than you are. It's going to sound wrong. All right. So, okay, I don't know. My son's going to kill me for this story because it just happened. He's turning 21. Thank the good Lord. Very soon. So, he's on a road trip with some friends.
Okay.
And they're out in Arizona at the Grand Canyon. And he called me up. He's like, you're not going to believe this place is amazing. It's the Grand Canyon. I don't know if you've been to the Grand Canyon?
It's incredible.
It's the most gorgeous thing. I have a theory that we die and we go up to heaven and God's going to be like, did you see my Grand Canyon? And you're going to be like, no, you're going back. Right. You got to go check out the Grand Canyon. Let me know what you think. Because that's like an artwork. Anyway, so I said to him, he said he's got the Grand Canyon. I said, I only have one question for you. He said, I know the question, and the answer is yes. Okay. Just to make my point that your kids know exactly what you think you have to talk. So what's the question? No one else will guess it, but if you're in my house, for some reason, he knows that if you're at the Grand Canyon, someone has to forgive me for this, but you have to pee off the side.
Why not?
It's the biggest toilet in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, that's maybe, but for me, that's hilarious.
Okay.
That's comedy.
Yeah.
You know, like this is the most beautiful, gorgeous thing in the world. You're like,
I'm sure not the only one who's
I'm not the only one. But he knew that's what I was thinking about.
That's so funny.
But just to understand that, like, he didn't have to think about what I'm going to ask him.
Yeah.
Because he knows my sense of humor. He knows what I think. He knows how I think about things. It was such a lesson to me that, like, you don't have to say anything. Now, they're trying to figure out, like, how to be themselves and still be listening to you.
Yeah.
But that's their struggle. So, I don't know. I don't know why that's important, but I think...
No, it is important. I think that the kids today, if they know you love them and they feel safe, you can discipline in a productive manner. It doesn't have to be yelling and screaming. It doesn't have to be punitive. It doesn't. Especially if you set the foundation, you know, and I didn't have him. I had him for about 8 years. So he went through most of his, you know, growing up, and I was around. Questions that he had about anything, I was around because his father passed away. Oh, wow. And he would always ask me, like, hey, you know, I don't know why I feel this way. What's this? Or talking about girls and things like that. You know, how do I approach a girl? What do I say? What do I do? And for him to even ask me that, it's flattering to me.
Yeah.
He would come to me, you know, it's because he trusts me. So when I say to him, don't tinker, I'm not telling him not to tinker. I'm telling him to stay away from his mother's view.
Right. He knows that you like that he tinkers.
He
like
can
when
fix
you said
anything.
he tinkers, there was a little like glint in your eyes.
'Cause he
Like,
can fix
it's
anything.
cool. I was talking about my son and he does the editing.
Right.
It's like, it's really cool that he could do anything with a computer.
I came home one day and I said, Duncan, there's this noise in my car. I don't know. It's coming from the front. I don't know what it is. Give me the key. Go. I hear like clinking and clanking. He says, all right, it's done. I said, so what? He says, you know, one of the bolts in the shock was loose. Fixed it. No problem. He says, I put a reinforcement on it. That won't happen again. He says, by the way, you need new tires. And I'm like, this is great. Because I was scared. Like, I got a full day in the morning. I got to postpone. I got to go rent a car. It was like he alleviated my stress because for people who don't know how to fix cars, it's a scary thing. You're at the mercy of the mechanic. You're like, here's my car. Tell me how much it costs.
No, there's a fix. The fix is leasing. Right. That's the fix.
I can't lease a
car. Will work for 3 years, and then the problems. That's why all the Jews have figured out leasing. They will not do anything else because they don't know how to fix cars.
I do probably 1,600 to 2,000 miles a month.
Oh my God!
It would never work for me. So I would love to lease. I don't want to own anything. I don't want to own a car. For what? You just want to own properties. Yeah, that's all you want to own. A car is kind of a pain, but
no, I hit an age where I just did like an assessment of like an anxiety. It used to be like a cost benefit assessment, but then you now have to add in how much it costs to feel anxious about the car in the shop. Like it added to the little.
You leased the Tesla?
No, the Tesla I actually bought.
Because that's my next car.
It's so good, but you can lease them.
They're fantastic. Mike
amazing.
DeMarco bought one.
Yeah,
and we went out on a road trip because we had meetings to go on. I say, hey, why don't you drive? I want to be in your car. It was awesome. I mean, incredible. We went to go fill up at a Wawa. And I'm like, all right, so you're just going to plug in? He goes, yeah, it's all on my phone. Tells me how much it costs. It was like $7.
Right.
And I'm like,
that's the thing that really gets you. Like, what? So that's 2 gallons.
So I think he paid less than $40,000 for it with all the
things.
All the things they
Everybody figured it out. In New Jersey, they figured it out.
So I was like, wow. Under $40,000 for a brand new car. And a good car.
It's not
It's a
just
home
a
run.
good car.
It's a home
It's better in every single way. And all these people come over to me. There's this awesome guy who does the marketing. I forgot his name. I follow him on Instagram. He's awesome. Oh my gosh. It's like a heavy guy, and he just says the most wise things. I forgot his name. British guy. Okay. Anyway, so he's like, can you imagine the other side? Imagine that somebody was coming in and saying, I'd like to, like, we all had electric cars zipping around, doing our life. And then somebody comes in and goes, listen, I have an amazing idea, a new invention. It's a car that drives with these little explosions that happen inside. And they're like, is it faster? No, it's not faster. But it also has much less torque because it needs gears. And it's got 270 moving parts instead of your 7 moving parts, which you have an electric car. But, so they're like, could you plug it in at home? They're like, no. You have to go to a gas station, but it's very quick. And then, like, imagine you were presenting the other cars when everybody had electric cars.
Right.
It would be like, what exactly are you selling me here?
Yeah, sure.
It's ridiculous.
I didn't buy into the electric. So my friend, the guy from Deerfield, he had one, and he paid over $100,000 for it when they first came out. It was like the sports car.
Oh,
really nice. It had the insane mode.
yeah, right.
So I said, I don't understand the allure of this. He says, here, the car's in the garage down the street. I'm in the middle of Manhattan. He goes, get on the Jersey Turnpike and go test the car. I said, I can't take your car. He said, why not? I said, I can't afford to fix this thing if it breaks. He says, don't worry about it. He says, just do it. So I go out on the highway and I hit the accelerator and my head hits the back of the seat. And I'm like, oh my God. And you get this adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
This is better than any sports car I've ever had in my life. I go back to the office and I'm like, it's like, I told you. I said, I can't afford this. He says, you'll be able to afford it in years to come. You'll see. He's figuring it out. He says, I had to have this because it's politically correct. He was like one of the first people that...
He was having it for the left reasons, man. Like, dude,
politically correct. He says,
now it's the opposite. Republicans like Teslas.
Yeah.
And now everybody hates Elon Musk. So now they have a whole story that electric cars are really worse than gas cars because it's... Why is my car political? Could somebody tell me?
Well, didn't he say that when you go to buy a car, do you check the beliefs of the person who owns the company, the political beliefs, or do you buy the car?
Elon Musk said that?
Yeah.
That's great.
Because it's the right thing to say, right?
Yeah.
He's one of the smartest people on the planet. And he's figured it out, and his company is successful for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, and then when he comes up with these personal robots, that's going to be next, right? So... I think that we should never politicize things that are good for our economy and progress in life.
Yeah, but we don't know what's good because everybody's telling us this is good and that's good, whatever. But I want to know, you working with Orthodox, the Orthodox community, what's different about like the addicts that you're dealing with or the addicts' families or
That's a really
than the other communities?
What I've noticed in the Orthodox world, I'm not dealing with too much fentanyl. I'm not dealing with a lot of heroin. I'm dealing with psychedelic drugs. I'm dealing with a ton of marijuana use and a lot of drinking. I'm not dealing with the cocaine as much. Some of the Orthodox businessmen who frequent, prostitution and stuff like that, it is cocaine and sex addiction.
Right.
But for the younger population, it's not. It's psychedelics, it's marijuana use, and it starts with Shabbos drinking.
Right.
And then through those conditions, I've noticed they're smoking too much, and it's bringing out a certain schizoaffective behavior, the THC.
Right.
And a lot of them are ending up in the hospital. So I'm doing a lot of work with...
I'm actually seeing a lot more of that than I used to.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's something to do with the pot.
Well, the pot's very strong.
The pot's amazing now. Don't say
it's very
amazing bad, guys.
I get it. It's very, very strong. And it's not the way it was years ago. So I think that if you have an underlying condition, it might bring it out.
Right. It is coming out.
It's coming out. So I'm dealing with a lot of them that end up in Presbyterian, New York Presbyterian.
Sure.
And I work with the New York Kabads, and Zalman Palik and all those, they're great people, and they call me with crisis calls. It's awesome.
That's why I got to get on Zalman Pollock.
He's awesome.
He's a
He
classic.
is in it. So I went to meet him in Brooklyn by Peter
It's
Luger.
cool to meet all these.
Oh man, he was a giant.
Is there a version of someone like a Zalman Pollock in the secular world? Does that exist? I wonder if that's
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you got people that roam through Kensington. You got people who have their phone is like a golden brick. Everybody's calling them for resources. You have a lot of that because a lot of the Jewish people, they have a lot of referral services.
Yeah.
I've noticed. In the other side, it's not so much like that.
Right. So I'm wondering if they have all these.
Everybody's worried about ethics and how a referral comes in the world that I live in, in the treatment world.
What does that mean?
So sometimes when a referral comes in, a lot of treatment centers want the referrals to come in from licensed places. They want it to come in from detoxes, from private therapists, things like that. So there's not as many call centers as there is in the Orthodox world. But the benefit of the Orthodox people is they have figured out how to be available to give a referral. There are so many different needs out there. I need housing, I need food, I need clothes, I need treatment, my mental health. And a lot of them are involved in so many things. And they're helping people get to the right place. And a lot of them, I've gotten calls. Hey, I know this guy, maybe he can help you. And usually that's the way kind of getting well starts. Like a person asked me about sober living, Jewish sober living. There is none. Yes, there is.
Yes, there is.
There is. And I'm always referencing here because there isn't many.
Right.
And there isn't many that are good. So if you have something that's good, you want to make sure people know about it. Because I get so many calls. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. And there are so many resources available. So for me, most of my position is getting people where they got to go.
It's so hard because there are people, I know that we struggle because we're non-for-profit and we're not really charging that much. But, I mean, we're charging, but for what we're doing, we're not charging that much. Mm-hmm. So we have, the marketing budget's pretty dismal. But it's fascinating to me that I see a lot of programs that are not necessarily great programs, but they're great at marketing.
Oh, yeah.
And then, as a matter of fact, the best programs I know are terrible at marketing.
Yeah.
It's like everybody's good at something. Mm-hmm. So they're good at marketing, but not necessarily the greatest program.
It's true. And I think that a lot of this is relationships out there. Who trusts you? If they know you, they know you're not going to be involved in something that's going to hurt somebody. So they'll call you. Throughout my career, I've never guided anybody into one particular program. It's just not right.
Right.
I hear the case. I hear from the patient. And then I research. What's their condition? Where do they live? What's their insurance? Do they have money to spend? I want to make sure I never hurt anybody. And it has to be in the right level of care. I don't take $1 if I don't have to. I don't want to, because that's why we have insurance. In my world, it's a treatment episode. It's a little different on the other side. But when families come to me and they say to me, all right, this is the story. Usually it takes about 3 conversations for the whole story to come out. But the initial story, I get the background. I get a chance to speak to the person who's struggling. And then I realize what my responsibility is and who to call. And I've developed a spreadsheet for myself of programs that have everything. Who works there, how long they've been there, what they treat, what their ratings are. I want to know. Because if somebody comes to me...
I know that when I send people your way, I feel really confident.
Because I'm not going to leave them alone.
Right.
I won't. And if it's not the right fit for them, I'm going to tell you. No, maybe it should go here. No matter who gets upset.
It's funny, I'm laughing because we started with the bagel conversation, and I think the person I want to be making referrals or helping people go to the next stage is someone who cares about the water and the bagels. You know what I'm saying? The details
also care
are
about
important.
Feeding the people who can't afford it.
Keep it right or carry them out. So let me ask you a question that I don't know if you could. I'm curious what you if you could answer this correctly because you work for a treatment center. Do you think treatment is working?
That's a loaded question.
Yeah, it's a big one. Go for big ones.
I think that treatment works if the person goes into treatment wanting it to work. I think that if you're in the right place and they're qualified to treat you and they're doing their best, if the patient is open to learning, you'll get an experience. I think you can get treatment in the mission. It doesn't matter where you are. Once you're ready to hear a message, treatment is available.
So, okay.
Do I think some treatment centers should not be open? Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I think.
Why? What are they doing wrong?
Because they're not really caring about the patient, just the head in the bed.
Right.
And they're not giving the right education, and having a bad treatment experience, especially if it's your first one, could be detrimental to your life.
Yeah, I'm dealing with a guy right now. It's the saddest thing in the world. He's such a sweet guy, and he just had a terrible treatment experience years ago, and he's dying to come into my program. And I said, you have to go to treatment first. Try something. I will not go back to treatment. It was the worst thing ever. I'll try to work with him and try to convince him on some level, but sometimes when you burn it out, because what you're pointing out, my follow-up question is this. If someone doesn't want to go to treatment, should we be pushing them into treatment? I'm not seeing too much success that way, and you're saying you're not seeing so much success. That's
a hard question.
I know. I'm throwing the hard questions, but I waited till the end.
No, it's all right. What I think is that if somebody's life has become unmanageable, and I think if you're at the end where you're getting in trouble with the law, you barely have a place to be anymore, then maybe a push is necessary, because it's either the push to treatment or you're going to end up in jail or worse, right? So I think there's a time and a place to push. But I think that if you go into treatment and you say, okay, I want to help myself, even in the smallest way, there'll be somebody at that center that you can connect with. And it's really not the whole center, it's a person. So when you go into treatment, and this is what I've seen because I've watched. I watch patients when they come in when I was in Maryland. They gravitate towards a person, towards a staff member, and that becomes their person. And that person introduces them to other people eventually. But for a while, they sit with just that person. And maybe it's not a therapist. Maybe it's a tech. But maybe they're sharing their experience, strength, and hope with them, and it opens up a door. Like what we all look for in this is a light to go off. Once that light goes off, we all can see it because we're in the field. Oh, wow. Interested. The light is off. His eyes are open, ready to hear something.
Right.
And that's when the healing begins. So sometimes it's necessary to push, and sometimes it's necessary to be uncomfortable.
I definitely agree with that. I will say this, and I think I want to push this idea, is that I have found that, like you're saying, there's a little part. I believe in every person. I have this funny test I do with addicts. Okay, I'm going on. I keep thinking of a different way to say it. The funny question I ask addicts, I say, answer me the correct answer. Don't think about the other answer. Just answer immediately yes or no. What do you think? Do you want to get off of drugs? They say yes. Do you want to stay on drugs? Yes. So I'm like, okay, so now it's a very cute little, it doesn't do anything, but I'm saying, I say, in your life, there's a part of you that wants to get off and a part of you that wants to stay on. When healing is going to begin is not when it's 100-0.
Right.
It's when the part of you that wants to get better is a little bit bigger. Is a little bit bigger than the part that doesn't want to get better.
Sure.
So what I have, this is what I'm trying to push. The idea is if you spend a little bit of time with someone and really help them find the part of themselves that wants to get better, you'll have them go into treatment the way you're saying. Meaning it's the same person. It just takes a little more time. I get a little nervous when people frantically throw people into treatment.
But sometimes it's
too late.
Being uncomfortable and you're in the treatment center and you don't want to be there.
Right.
And you're in detox and you don't feel good. And then it's that one person that comes and sits with you.
So that's the
Hey, my name is so-and-so, and I was in your seat. I was feeling exactly the way that you did. And this is what I did.
right.
And then another person comes over, hey, it's going to be fine. You're going to get through these couple of days. And then we're going to start to talk, and you're going to feel better. Sometimes being in a safe environment, when that happens, when that other side becomes stronger, it's more important because you're there already.
It could be, yeah, you're already there.
And it's I don't want to force anybody to do anything they don't want to do.
Right.
But I also don't want to see someone spiral and go downhill. So it's up to us to make that suggestion, but it's not really a suggestion. It's either institutions, jail, or death.
Right.
These are the three things that will happen to you if you stay in this. There's not a big percentage that can go through life this way.
Our community has had a bunch of deaths lately.
Yeah.
It's been rough. I'm literally getting phone calls almost daily. So,
and it's tough because, I would assume as a family, if you lose someone like that, you blame yourself. Like, what did I do wrong? Could I have done more? Sometimes it's a tough decision to give the hard line. I want to save your life, so I'm going to give you the hard line, and you need to do this.
I don't like hard, bro.
You want to or not?
Sorry.
If it's, we used
I'm
to have
doing such good work without the hard
we
line.
used to have a line in Brooklyn when I grew
Yeah.
up. If it ain't rough, it ain't right.
Oh, I agree with that line.
So
I just don't know if we have to be rough. I think the world is rough.
the world is rough, but in order for us to make sure our children are ready for it, they need to be aware of everything. And if you're not aware that you're sick, you're never going to make it in this rough world. So we're training soldiers now. It's more so than ever. My kid at home, and I call him mine because I spent a lot of time with him. He's a big kid. He's about 6'4".
Oh, really?
And he never had a fight in his life. But I can only imagine if this kid gets angry. He's strong. He's a tradesman, and he's big. He's like, can I talk to you? I said, sure. I don't know how to fight. I said, that's okay. Do you want to fight? He says, I don't want to fight, but I also don't want to get beat up. So I said, okay, so we work on a couple of things. But learning how to fight, doesn't mean that you go look for a fight. It just makes you feel a little more confident in you. So we're training soldiers.
Right.
We have to be there when they ask for the hard things, even if they're not asking for it. I'm sick. I'm not going to ask you to help me. I need help. And it's up to us to step forward and make the suggestion to the families, even if it's our own family. I have my most struggles with the moms because that's my first call is the mom crying, my son. Okay. Once I can get past that, I ask about what goes on in the house and how we can guide him to even talk to me. Because once he's talking to me, now he has another person. And now I can help. If I can't get to him, then I can't help. Right?
Right.
So I got to convince the mom who's crying, rightfully so crying, because what did you say? The mom is the comfort, right?
Right.
How do I get you to step out of your comfort zone and loan me your child for a minute that you're protecting so much? And I will say this to everybody who's listening. I'm not here to hurt anybody.
No, that's good.
If you're calling me, that means that you want an outside to help. Everybody knows this, and you know this too, that we can tell a million things to our kids, and sometimes they don't listen. But if someone from the outside says the same thing, you know what I heard today? Right? And it makes you feel like, well, I've been saying that for a long time.
Yeah.
It's not your fault that your child does not want to listen. It's that you've been telling them the same things over and over again, and they know it. They know how they feel. They know they're not feeling well, and they know they're doing wrong. Usually an outsider can help you.
Do you think the guys that leave the program, I'm just going to appreciate everything you just said, but I have a couple more questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think how well do you think they integrate back into the Orthodox Jewish community?
If they're welcome back, and this is the reason that we go right back to the beginning of the conversation, if the leaders of the Orthodox community where they pray welcome them back and celebrate their recovery, things get better. And there's so many of them that are doing that now.
Yeah.
I'm meeting so many that are saying, hey, it's Friday night. If you need to go to a meeting, you go.
That's right.
Saturday, you need to go to a meeting, you go. Because if you don't go, how are you going to go to the next one if you're not alive?
A rabbi told me, a big rabbi that everybody respects, he told me that if a guy calls me on a Friday night, calls me, I'm not the addict.
I already know which rabbi you're talking about.
Yeah? Okay.
Starts with a G?
No.
He does that too.
Yeah.
Rabbi
If he
Gluck.
calls me, Rabbi Gluck, yeah. I don't know if I want to quote this guy because I don't know. But he said that if a guy calls me, I have to answer the phone, and he says, I want to go to a meeting, but I only want you to drive me. I'm allowed to break Shabbat, get in my car, drive to him, pick him up, take him to a meeting, wait for him, and drive him home and drive myself home. I'm allowed to do all that on Shabbos. That's a deep understanding of how important it is to get help.
That's right. And isn't that the right thing? God
think so.
wants you to take care of yourself.
Right.
It's a blessing that we're all here. It's a blessing that we all get to do anything that we do. I always give thanks in the morning and at night because I'm blessed to be able to be in a situation where I can help somebody. It's not the same as going to fix a car or going to sell a car. People are calling me because their life's at risk. And they trust me enough where I'm able to guide them. What better blessing is that? So for me, it's not about honoring a Friday night or a Saturday because you're honoring God by saving a child.
Yeah.
So, of course, it's the right thing to do. When you live so much in the religion and the literal end of the religion, you get lost in what it means.
Yeah.
We're supposed to help each other.
You forget that it's about a relationship between each other and with God.
Of course.
Yeah.
We have to preserve each other. We have to make sure we're there for each other. That's it, And when we can, we celebrate with Shabbos. We celebrate with our holidays. We get together and we rejoice.
Right.
Even during the war, how many soldiers are not able to do that because of the war? But I'm sure they rejoice in their own way and they give thanks in their own way. So for me, if you need to help somebody, God knows that you're doing right. So you're not going against God or your culture.
Yeah.
You're helping your culture.
Yes. Wow. That's some good wisdom.
It's
I love
just
it.
the way it's supposed to go.
All right. So first of all, I have two questions left. One is what do people have to know about Crossroads? Is there anything that they should know? I got you on.
Absolutely. So we're Recovery at the Crossroads, and we're also Overcome in Lakewood. Recovery at the Crossroads is a PHP, IOP, and OP, which is partial hospitalization program, an intensive outpatient program, and an outpatient program. We also have housing attached.
Wait, let me just dumb that down. That means that people go in for all the therapy and the groups and everything.
It's an outpatient level of care.
And it goes from an intensive level of care to a much less intensive.
Right. So you'll come in at a 5-day schedule and a certain number of hours. If you live in the house, because we also have housing, it's a 5-day schedule, and you will get transferred into levels of care. We are a completely kosher program, so our food is kosher. Our house is kosher. We have rabbinical services there if you want them. If you do not, we never push. We want people to come around when they're ready. A lot of people have gone away from their faith, and it takes them sometimes a month to even sit with the rabbi. The rabbi comes in once a week. He's a licensed family therapist, so he can work with you and your family. We have rabbinical therapists, and we have non-Jewish therapists, which a lot of people sit with because they want a different perspective. We have a housing unit that is 5 acres of property. It's 7 miles away from the treatment center, which we transfer you. We pick you up, transport you each day. On that campus, it is absolutely beautiful. Like I said, 5 acres.
I've been there. It's
It's
beautiful.
really nice, and we did a lot of modifications. Now we have a
Oh.
golf simulator
Really?
driving range thing that Mike DeMarco put up. We have like putting greens. We have a
Really?
barbecue area.
Now I'm feeling bad. I haven't been there in
The
a while.
gym is being redone. I mean, it's really has come a long way. They've definitely put some time into it, and we're attracting people from everywhere now. It's
Right.
really nice. And like I said earlier, we have non-Jewish people that come in during the
Right.
day.
Well, you have the outpatient is probably
Yeah, so
in the
that we
area.
transport people from the house to the outpatient, and we have people coming that live in the area that come to the outpatient.
right.
So it's really nice.
Well, I'll say this, that I just give my plug is that I get a lot of guys from you guys.
Yeah.
We work with a very similar population.
Mm-hmm.
And you care about them, so you do make referrals, and that's beautiful. Some places just be like, yeah, go to the next place.
The most important thing is the aftercare.
Is the aftercare.
Yeah.
And I've almost never heard a bad word. They always feel like they care about them there. They always feel like they got a good, so they've had it. I've been very impressed with the work you do.
It's really a different kind of environment, and it is a lot of care. It's a lot of care. It's a smaller program, just like what you have here, where you can pay attention to everybody. No one feels unheard, and a lot of them are mental health. With substance attached. It's substance primary because that was our license, but now we have a mental health license,
Right.
so we can take people in that are straight mental health, as long as they're managed on medication and they're able to take care of themselves for the most part.
Right.
But we've made advancements by getting that mental health license. A lot of the cases that I'm seeing are self-medication. People have heavy mental health disorders and they're not on the right psych meds and they're self-medicating.
I see a lot of the same thing.
And it's sad because a lot of these conditions are bringing out more conditions if you're self-medicating.
Well, I'm going to say an off the wall type of idea.
Tell me.
I like when they self-medicate because then they're an addict. And there's so much good work you could do for addicts. It's much harder to go into this world, just mental health. They don't have the same support networks. They don't have the meetings. There's so much that's offered to addicts that people with mental health just don't have.
Yeah.
So it's weird that I'm like, let's get the ones that's self-medicate a little bit and come in and then we could deal with your
Well,
addiction.
you're not going to have to worry about that because that's all it is.
That's
People
all it
are
is.
so miserable and they feel so bad. That's the only relief that they get,
Yeah.
Okay,
let me ask you a question. I always ask everybody. I ask this question. If you're on top of a rooftop question, stand on top of a rooftop, what are you yelling to the world? The whole world's listening.
The whole world's
You're
listening.
yelling from the rooftops.
There's a couple of things. Does it have to be only one thing?
Yeah, you could do more than one, or
So I kind of do this in my brain in the morning anyway.
okay.
I give thanks that I'm alive because there's so many things that I've done when I was a kid that I shouldn't have been around for. And I'm available to help. I mean, my whole life revolves around the help game. My wife is a nurse. We do events with the counties where we help. We do a lot of things together as a family. So I am the help. Use me.
Ooh. It's like offering your services from the rooftops.
I am the help. Use me.
Okay, I'm gonna leave all your stuff. You're gonna have to send me your info and how to get in touch with you and everything.
Can I say,
You can plug everything you want. Go ahead.
if you are interested in something like this, or this is a conversation that you'd like to have, because no one knows exactly where they would like to go or what they're supposed to do, and I understand everybody wants to do their research, I would ask you if you would like to reach out to me. And my cell number is 609-810-9522.
No one's ever done that before.
609-810-9522. If you feel that you want to call our call center and you want to talk to a representative and you don't want to talk to me, and that's okay because this is not an ego thing.
Right.
This is just a helpline. 609-645-2146. And I think
That's awesome.
if you take these numbers, right, and you don't have to call if you don't want to, but if you have them, so you know that guy on that podcast said that maybe he could help. There will be a thought that way. And it might not be our program that you're going to come to.
Right. I will say that a lot of people, I don't know what to do with them, and I just send them your way.
Because I'm going to place them.
Right.
When you get a call, it's not just about representing the company that you're with. You're representing an individual. All of that gets pushed to the side. Now it's you and that individual. What do I do for the person? Because I have to find a direction. How many times have people been said, I can't help you? You're not going to call again. How much guts did it take you to make that phone call?
Right.
So when you make that phone call to me, I'm not going to waste it. I'm going to make sure you have a direction. So use me.
I love it. Okay. Thank you so much for coming. That was awesome.
Thanks
This
for
is
having
a long
me.
time in coming.
Thank you for this day that I've been given. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for this chance. Thank you for this chance to live a new